February 13th, 2024. We'll call to order the Scott County Council regular meeting. If you could please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of prayer.
Heavenly Father, we come to you right now, Lord. We just we praise your name, give you all the glory for all the things you've done. You made us, you made the world, you made everything, and give us the opportunity to come here and serve. We lift up right now Linda Eubanks, one of our board members. She's not feeling well. Give her healing and peace with her affliction. And Joy Kiefer, classmate of one of our members here, and one of the folks in the audience, and we lift her up. She's had a real tough time with cancer. Give her peace and healing, and your grace be on her and help her and her family. Father, be with us all as we try to make the decisions that are by your will and by your grace, and that will be the most to do the best for the citizens of Scott County, which we are elected and hired to represent. So thank you for all these things, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. At this time, I would like to accept a motion to accept the agenda as it stands. Johnny White with a motion.
I'll second.
Miller with a second. All in favor? Good to go on that, Jennifer? You good? Okay. Circuit Court for a grant interpreter fund. You're up first.
Good evening, I'm Allison Frazier. I'm the magistrate for the Circuit and Superior Courts. Judge Mount sends his regrets. He intended to be here, but he does teach a class at Ivy Tech, and they do meet at this time over in Sellersburg, and he was unable to come. So he asked me to come and address some of these issues that are on the agenda. One of them is the interpreter services in the circuit court and superior court, but more in the circuit court because we have more of the criminal cases, but we are seeing an increase in particularly Spanish-speaking litigants. We do have, I've seen some Gujarati speaking people, and even Pompeian. We had a sign language, a deaf person. So we have the need for interpreter services, and over 2023, we set up a program with a interpreter that will come on a set day each month. And we set all of our Spanish-speaking cases on that day so that the interpreter can be there kind of on an as-needed basis. And we started that back, I believe, in March of 2023, and we saw that to be a great success. Made things run very smoothly. Attorneys could speak to their clients through the interpreter. The judge can have initial hearings through the interpreter, change of plea hearings. It will work very well. And so we applied for a grant from the state saying, you know, we've got this up and going. We'd like to get some grant funds. We think the need is going to increase. And the maximum on that grant, and we've never applied for it before, was $8,000. And they gave us $2,000, and that's likely because we got started later in the year, last year, and so we didn't have a full year of need to illustrate to them. We've never applied before, so I think that's probably why they gave us the $2,000. And on the budget request, Judge Mount asked for $4,500 to go towards that 2,000 and then possibly more over that, which we anticipate we will have. And we were approved for 1,500. And so I guess what we're asking for is, to increase the 1,500, because at least the 2,000 is gonna be fully reimbursed. And, we would like to go up to at least 3,500 to cut into some of that need, that we anticipate. Does anyone have any questions about the grant or interpreter services or how we use them? Yes?
Like where I work, we have interpreter services that if we need Cantonese, if we need Spanish, if we need whatever. Is that similar with this, whatever your need is, or is it just Spanish?
Well, it is not just Spanish, it is primarily Spanish. It is largely Spanish. But we have the occasional Gujarati, we have the occasional deaf
So this
person.
service, would, you could let them know what day you were gonna have a trial or need, or
Yes.
hearing or whatever, and
Yes.
they would supply that. So whatever our need would be, they would take care of that, is that correct?
Well, this is just one person, and it is Spanish only. And we would have to hire other people to do, we had one hearing with American Sign Language already this year, so we hired that person to come in and interpret the hearing for that litigant.
So if you had a different language need, we would have to hire someone else.
Right.
So is there a service that we could access that would be able to accommodate us for any type of need we might need? Like we call, say, next 2 weeks from when we're gonna have a hearing for some Spanish-speaking Americans or Spanish-speaking people. And then in a month, you call and say, we have a Japanese person, whatever. Is there a service that we could maybe utilize that would have all those capabilities?
The answer to that is no and yes.
Okay.
There is a service, it's called Language Line, and we do use that occasionally, but they, the state court administration has directed us to limit that to very basic hearings, not change of plea hearings, not bench trials, not contested divorce hearings, but just very limited hearings, because these people are kind of on call, they come in, they do a hearing for 10 minutes and then they're gone. But some of the larger hearings need an interpreter there, in person in the courtroom.
So what you're asking for with this grant today would be just for the Spanish-speaking interpreter?
It would be for all interpreter services in the courtroom.
Okay,
Those covered by the grant and not covered by the grant.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, ma'am, I believe we're on board. Thank you for looking for a grant. You know, anytime we can find those, we appreciate it. But the one thing you said was you're expecting it to go in that same line as the 1,500. With it being a grant, we'll have to create a separate line. So in the budget, and you can relay to Judge Mount, it'll be a separate line, but it'll be for the same thing, and you'll be able to use it as what you're wanting. But we can't put it in that pre-created line because it is a grant. Just so you're
I
clear on
understand that, yeah.
Okay.
That's, the intricacies of budgeting. I think.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure
Thank you.
you were aware. So, with that, any other questions or comments?
Yeah, what's the actual dollar amount that you're gonna require from us, from the county, anything? Or is it-
Well, we asked for 4,500 when we did our original budget estimate, and we think that is a reasonable number. But we didn't get that, and we understand you don't get everything you ask for. But we're asking for 3,500 to get your 2,000 reimbursed from the grant, and then that would be 1,500 out of the county's pocket. So we're asking for 3,500 total, but it
So-
would be 2,000 of
Yeah.
that would be reimbursed.
On the agenda tonight, we're not doing any additional appropriation. It's for the grant, which would put them at a 3,500 overall, if that makes sense to you.
We've only been asked to
So-
take care of,
Except the grant. into
Except the
their-
grant, yeah.
Their monies. So that being 2,000, they have 1,500 that was given to them at budget time would equal 3,500.
So we're not,
Adding anything additional at this time.
I see, okay, well, that was my question. Yeah.
Okay? Let me see if there's anything else. Judgment, and I think this is, you know, inevitable, that if we were to run out, we anticipate we would be back to ask for more money, because it's something that we do have to provide to satisfy the constitutional requirement to access to the courts.
Yep.
We have to meet the language needs where the people are.
And at that time, we would just have to advertise an additional appropriation and vote on that at that time. If we need it later on in this year or something, we could visit that. But as far as the grant, if there's no other questions or comment, I would entertain a motion to move with the grant.
I have a question.
Yes,
And the
Ordinance.
$8,000,
Ordinance 2024.
I'm assuming maybe you apply next time, you might receive more from the state.
it's an annual application, so we do anticipate that because we will have
It has to
a
be
better
unanimous consent.
demonstration of our need
Right.
for
Not
this
like
year.
to do a second reading.
That's all I needed. Thank you.
Actually, no, it's not.
And
It's additional
This is
appropriation.
Greg
You don't need
Pfeiffer.
unanimous consent.
He's an attorney that is assisting us, and I didn't know if he had anything additional to say, or if you had any questions for him.
Not that issue.
Okay.
Good. So on this, it's on ordinance 2024-1, and I would consider a motion to accept the grant in the amount of $2,000 and create a line item for that.
I'll second it.
Alright, well, let's do Diane with the motion and, Miller with the second. How's that? All in favor? All opposed, same sign, no opposed, 6-0. Do you want a motion to create the line and is it included in that?
you.
It was included in that. Do you want me to pass them down now? or
Thank
do
you
want to
for
wait till
being-
the end?
Probably better to wait.
Yeah, let's just wait.
Next up, Sheriff's Department.
Which one does he want to discuss first?
We'll have to see here. How you doing, sir? Oh, not bad. Trying to fill the shoes of a meeting. Where you wanna start on this? I know you got a few items.
One of them is gonna be for the ARP funds, and that's for the vehicle purchases. Back, last, August, September, the commissioners approved the purchase of those vehicles, and I spoke to Lindy Eubanks, Ms. Eubanks, president at the time. She told me to wait till after the first of the year to make the ask for the vehicles because of, construction stuff that was going on in the courthouse. So I said, that's fine, I'll do that. So that's what I'm here for, is to
These
ask for
would be
the
ordinances 2, 3, and 4.
And these will be on ordinance 2024, 2, 3, and 4 for 3 vehicles, which are all in the amount, I think, $55,561.
No, there's one for
It's
52.
the total, I can tell you that if you want it.
Two, well, they're separate, so 2 of those are they're all the same price.
No, one's 52,000. I just don't think I have a
You've
copy
got
of that.
55,651,
We have 2 of them, 55,000.
yes, and then you've got one
I don't have
52,472.
52,000.
My
Okay,
question
so that will
was,
be 4.
my question to the sheriff, was the vehicle still the same price it was when you said he
I
called?
don't know that, I don't know.
You said to John Jones?
Yes, yeah, through John Jones. Yeah, they're the same price. I wanted to make sure that, you see what I'm saying?
I got you.
That it
Because
was.
that's,
Yeah.
price has gone up a little bit.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah, he said they would honor it. So, it's all.
So, one of them is a Ram Crew Cab, a 2023 for $55,561. Then a 2023 Dodge Durango for $55,561. And then another 2023 Dodge Durango for $52,472. Well, the total, you said you had that.
Yeah,
The Rams are the 55.
This is Dodge Durango.
It's incorrect. It was 2 Rams at 55,
yeah,
and then a Durango at
55,
Well, we can,
651.
we'll correct them. This one, this coming right on here.
one's right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that one's right. That's what he read on.
52 don't have radio in it.
Yeah,
Those are the 55 and then the Dodge Durango.
Okay,
yeah, that's what I got on my food cabs for 55.
yeah.
Okay, correction. 2 Dodge Crew Cab trucks for $55,651 each. 1 Dodge Durango, a 2023 for $52,472, which makes more sense, because I was wondering why one Durango is more than the other.
And these were approved last year by resolution required by the commissioners in August.
Resolution in August, and on ordinance 2024, 2, 3, and 4 for us tonight. Any questions from the board? Well, Miller had one, but I think he answered that. Do you have a total, you said? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's,
Or I can add it.
No, it's 163, comma 774, period 00. 163, 774, no change.
Does anybody have anything else for any other questions? So the total on this would be $163,774. And the sheriff stated he called and the vehicles are still available, there's
Yeah.
23s,
Yeah.
and the price would still be the same. So, if no further comments or questions, I would accept a motion to move on it.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
White and Collins. So a motion from Johnny White to accept the 3 vehicles on ordinance, second by John Collins, all in favor? 2, yes. All opposed? And 4 no on that one.
So
Let's set them where we don't mix them up with the ones that aren't correct, so. What else do you have, Sheriff?
I'm not sure, I have to have DeAndrea talk about that, but
What's
that's
the
the
next
extra
one?
So on
appropriations.
the next is the, HIV, salary, overtime salary, and then the,
That would be
part-time
5.
salary.
So HIV was 110,
HIV is 110.
which is number 5. What was number 6 gonna be?
One would be the overtime salary, 164.
Okay, that would be 6. And then 7 would be for 5,500
Yep.
out of lit special purpose, all 3, or one, the part-time we want's out of lit public safety, right? And the other 2 out of lit special purpose.
So the yes. Yes,
So you've got HIV as 6?
yes.
No, I have HIV is 5, right?
Okay,
And then 6 was the part-time salary.
okay.
7 is 5,500, which is another salary one.
So let's work through these. Let's start with on ordinance 2024-5. It's an ordinance for additional appropriation coming from lit special purpose. A requested amount of $110,000 for HIV expenses. Moving to, and do we know what the standing in lit is currently in the account?
Yep. It's
Awesome.
in your packet.
Sorry, I haven't been
No,
able
that's
to
okay.
dig into that.
So if you look at the second page of your packet there, you'll see that we have the budget for lit special purpose, the cash balance as of today, the total receipts, and then ending cash balance less the additional appropriation of the 110 and 164,000. So the ending cash balance for 2024 would be $1.3 million.
Okay.
Does that include outstanding?
It includes everything, yes.
Everything
All the-
appropriated already?
yeah, everything that's already appropriated.
And does the HIV, is that the one that they do something weird with that? Put it
Yeah,
in the
they give us
budget
a-
and then you get like a
And
draw or
withdraw
something,
it
right?
out when we need it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not sure where they put that extra money though, because there was like $1 million in it.
Okay.
So I'm not sure where it went to, but we discussed that. So that's the reason why she was taking care of that, so.
Okay. So the 110 is the yearly draw, or is
That's our
that?
first draw.
Okay, alright, okay.
And
That's
that
where it
was-
has, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say that was per what the entire 2023 was of last year, or the last 3 years average.
Is
For that line item.
110 is, okay. I was gonna say, how much have we used so far this year, do you know?
No, I don't know, because it's,
Shouldn't
Nothing.
be,
No,
because it's 0 appropriate.
Okay, alrighty. Any other questions on ordinance 2024-5 from the board?
Yeah, I don't get that. There's 100,000, we put 100,000, for HIV and, special purpose in the jail. Because Doug came over my shoulder and said, right here it is, and we went through all that.
There's zero in that line.
Yeah, that line had $0 in it.
There was nothing appropriated in that line
On the jail?
on the jail, period. Anywhere, in special purpose, in 1170, anywhere, the jail.
Maybe it was an oversight.
It may be.
I mean,
I
cause
can't speak
I think
to
we did talk about it, even in your budget hearing, I think we
Yeah.
talked about it, and the number was 100, I think, is what it was.
Yeah, Doug showed me on paper.
Didn't make it there, okay.
And when we roll over, we can only go by what was sent to state and approved by state. So that, it didn't make it to state, I don't know about the rest of it, but that's all I can go by when we roll the budget over.
Okay, so, what's our,
So the request is for 110, if you wish to do the 100, I think we could just change the, amount appropriated or agreed upon, if that's what your motion would be, but it would have to come on a motion to pass or accept this ordinance.
Let me explain all that in this too, so you understand.
well, I just can't get past the question that, we put 100,000 on in the special purpose for that.
But it was not submitted to the state in the forms. So it may have been during the budget hearings, you may have discussed it, but it was not on the line item in the forms when it was sent to state. And so it was not approved by state as part of the budget.
Okay, all right, let's put that aside. Now, what's the request?
110,000 for HIV expenses, which Deandra says is an average of what has been used over the last 2 years, 2 or 3 years, 2 to 3 years. And as of right now, nothing has been expended because they said there was nothing in that line, so they haven't used any
Okay,
as of now.
okay, so where are we gonna get the money from?
From lit special purpose
Okay.
is where they're requesting.
Okay.
Which has a current cash balance of $1.5 million.
Any other questions or?
No, I got it now, yeah.
Okay. So I think this is just an oversight that it somehow missed because I distinctly remember making sure that was in there in the budget.
Yeah.
So I would accept the motion to accept the ordinance 2024-5. Who was motion? Miller and White. Everybody jumping in here. All in favor of the HIV? 6-0. And that's for the full 110. Next up on your list, sir.
All right, so what happened was this, Deandra had contacted me and she said that you're gonna have to make some changes in your budget because there's no way that you can deal with what you got. I said, okay. So she actually went in and made the average of all these appropriations that are here, the additional appropriations that we met, she made the averages. So that's where these numbers came from. On the rest of the, you see what I'm saying, the additional appropriations. So wherever you want me to go to.
Whichever one's up you want to talk about next, we'll head that way.
How about the overtime?
The $164,000.
164.
Yes.
So this one is an ordinance 2024-6 and is an ordinance for an additional appropriation from lit public safety to a salary line item in $164,000, the amount requested for, the sheriff said for overtime. Is that jail?
That's jail.
Jail overtime.
So the original advertisement was to have that in 1170. I have also ran a scenario where you could take it out of 1114. I don't know if we have to re-advertise, but that's at least from a financial standpoint, we can do that.
Which the 1114 is the special purpose, right?
Right, just for the jail.
Okay.
But we've advertised it out of public safety, right?
What is it stating at? No. So it's, is it 1114, is that public safety or special?
I'm sorry, yeah, that's special purpose, 1114 is special purpose,
Okay.
1170 is public safety.
So just the fund name needs to be corrected on the ordinance, right?
Oh, sure, we did them with different numbers.
Still on,
Is that the 5,500?
alright, let's try this again. We're still on ordinance 2024-6, and it's gonna be salary for overtime in the jail out of lit public safety, $164,000 is what's requested.
Unless you wanna drop all the ordinances.
Any questions from the council?
No, I know, but I couldn't remember, that's how they get it.
Zero.
Looks like 0 on that is what was transferred over. And it's currently negative $5,213.60. Do you
So
know?
this is what you think you'll need for overtime?
Well, this is what this is the average that Leandra came up with and said, this is what, according to the prior budgets, this is what I would need for overtime in the jail. So,
But it's coming out of this.
So if you're roughly spending $5,200, I mean, we're 1 month in, so we've roughly spent $5,200 a month on overtime. Be right at that amount, or right close to it.
It's not summertime yet, is it? I'll have to go down in summertime. Okay, you can stay out late.
But any other questions or comments?
Yeah, how much was it?
164,000 is the requested amount.
5,000 a month, 12 months.
So the line actually that is the overtime line for the jail is the 12,001 overtime,
The one that.
which is at $1,714.87 currently.
Where you at on that?
Right here,
Cause I'm
so
looking at
why is this negative?
negative 52.
So that's the unexpended because there was nothing appropriated, so it's a negative.
But it was spent.
A little bit closer to $65,000 a year.
62,000 would be that.
So it would be the combination of the two.
Where's the other one you're looking at?
I'm looking at this one that
Yeah,
it's been
that's what I'm
overspent
looking
with
at.
0 appropriation.
Same. But where's the one you're talking about?
This is,
It's on the next page.
Next page.
Yeah.
it's 1170, 12,001, very bottom.
well,
So
yeah.
380 is the jail,
That, and
up
then
5 is the.
short staff, plus we have, like when somebody goes to the hospital, like last week, we had somebody had to go to the hospital and stay for like 4 days. We just don't say go to the hospital. We have to send a jailer out there with them 24 hours a day. So you've got, there's 24 hours of overtime every day, you see what I'm saying? That they're there. Those things usually is what happens to make that happen that way. Or say we have somebody that has to be transported to Ohio or wherever it is, we have to send those people, we have to pay for it. So, and those are things that we don't know, those are unexpected that pop up.
They
So-
don't get copies of that, so.
What is this, the 1170, what's the 17,000 negative?
The 1,700,
1700.
that's where they paid out.
1,700
So
negative.
that is the jail location, so that is a 03.
And this one is also.
That one is, road deputy.
So 5,200 is road,
I have to double check and make sure that we didn't
That's-
erroneously put that in the wrong line though, that's.
7,200, or 1,700 is out of his jail.
And that would come out of.
Well, the 164 seems pretty drastic if we're only
I'm not sure,
1,700.
that's totally.
What you have to understand, right, is, all I did was pull an average.
That's what it's showing.
to understand.
You're trying to appropriate for the year, not to, but I think you appropriated 0, didn't you?
I thought it was some, but there's
Yes.
0, I mean, in there, there's nothing in there, so. Is there any in this?
Not being a part of the budget hearings, I didn't know if it was an oversight like we've had on
So
the others.
is the overtime on the road deputies and the jailer and the other one, is that all three combined for the 164?
No,
No,
no.
It's only going into the 1170, 12,001
Yeah, 'cause
fund.
this one here, you know, if you add that adds to what you got right there. It's an additional appropriation, so they don't, it's showing up
Did
here
you
again.
advertise an additional appropriation for this one, it's in the negative?
I think that may be an adjustment that needs to happen to the kind of the pay on it, just, because it wasn't, we didn't have a line, we didn't have any.
Okay.
There's an changes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you don't care, just kind of recap, because I'm kind of confused, you know what I'm saying?
You're not the only
This is all
one.
new paper
Oh,
for us. This is
yeah,
the
it
first
is.
time we got this person.
So-
Yep, I've not even got
Yeah,
there.
that's what I'm saying, well, you-
I guess
They've
what
done a
we're
great
looking
job,
at,
so.
just to kind of go back through this, is they believe the 1170 fund out of account 12,001 listed as overtime is negative $1,714.87. That is believed to be the jail, which is what the 164,000 is requested for. The other 1114 account, 1114 fund, 12,001 account overtime, negative $5,213.60 is roadside. However, we believe that's a change of payroll or something to
Yeah.
fix that problem. Okay.
But you got another one here too that says that, it's on different papers. so-
Yeah, I think it's the same fund number though.
Well, it is the same phone number.
Yeah, it's just put on that same paper, which makes it more confusing,
Well,
but
these totals here don't add up though. You look at totals, cause there's that, then here, the second page, you got that. So,
So which one are you looking at? And I might be able
'Cause
to
this
provide
is
some more
out of-
explanation.
well, I don't
on this
know.
one, it has the two different funds, has 1114 and 1170.
Right,
Then the ending cash balance, excuse me, is 779,940, yeah, 780 for lack of better terms. The other one, 1114, showing ending cash of $1.3 million.
right. So this one that is at the 770 or 780, this is a scenario that if you take the 1170 jail budget and you move it to the lit special purpose budget, that would be your ending cash balance in that,
Okay.
which would then free up the funds in your 1170
Fund,
public safety.
okay.
Both scenarios are just indicating that the cash is there, that we wouldn't be overexpended. So if we were to submit to state, we would not get it bounced back to us.
So will you need overtime since there none showed up for apparently jail or road? Are you gonna need some for road at a later date?
Well, yeah, I mean, as it goes on, but here's what I gotta commend this lady's right here, okay? Because what she did is she took the budget that we had that was approved, and she went through and she said, Jerry, this is what you need to make it through the year. So, thank you very much. Very, very, very good job. So that's what I'm asking for. Yeah, what we're asking for should take us through the whole year. So, yeah, what she's asking here for the request will take us through everything that she asked for. It's like with the HIV money, that should last us all year. With the jail overtime monies, that should last us all year. With the road overtime monies, that should last us all year. With the part-time, what she asked for, so we wouldn't have to come back.
Yeah,
So
and we haven't asked for the road overtime yet because as of whenever I pulled all of the numbers, we didn't have anything. So there was no need for,
So do we know how much that's gonna be?
I can get that
An
information.
idea? Okay.
So there's still gonna be a negative balance of 780,000 roughly, so.
Depending on how you
Negative
move
balance.
things around.
Move everything around, so. That just gives them the flexibility.
So what if we do half of this and then figure out where we're at, so we can all look at what happened in the budget and then we revisit this if we have to? Would that be a fair move?
Yeah, cause this really, I mean, this is really contradicting to some of these numbers, so.
I'm like you, I'm
I can-
confused, but I
No, no,
understand you need
yeah,
money to
yeah.
Go into
operate.
further detail.
Yeah.
So,
I mean-
we may have to revisit it, but
Yeah.
that would at
This
least
will give you something to
Yeah.
operate on.
put
Yeah, that's
something
fine.
there.
And that's
Because you got the same number on both lines and there's different appropriation numbers, and that's what's confusing on this paper.
They used to
This-
do
this-
that where if you ran out of
I
one,
know,
you could
yeah,
just
yeah,
use
but
the
this is-
other.
This is
So
the
that
first
way-
time we've had it
Right.
done like this, so it's a little different, I mean, not saying there's nothing you can't figure out, but it just,
And some of it is that it's the same, like, it's different, same fund, but location will be different. So that would be the sheriff versus, and then even the
Yeah.
other ones still have a no department, which would be your 1114, your special
Yeah.
purpose. So it is very confusing, so we can go through it. in
like
greater
you, I think
detail.
we do that now, we do whatever.
If we need to revisit it.
we can do
Which ones in the fund that can just be used for just sheriff?
Special purpose, lit special purpose would be for the jail only.
And then if it's if the council decides, then what we can do for the next is we can advertise for it all to be in lit special purpose.
We can't pay road deputies out of that.
No, I understand that, but I mean, the jail lines.
Okay. I'm
And then
with
we
you.
can discuss about the road deputies and figure out what that looks like and what we would even need.
Okay. So this is coming out of 1170, which is public safety?
Correct.
Okay. Cause that you could pay road out of, so I definitely would like to not use the full amount for the jail out of that. If there's some in special purpose, it would make more sense to
I agree.
pay the jail out of that. So I entertain a motion if anybody's so inclined to make one on something.
I'd second it to do $75,000 now,
Okay.
and then we'll revisit it when we need to.
So motion on the floor from White to change the amount appropriated to 75,000. And that will be coming out of lit public safety for overtime in the jail. Second by Collins, all in favor?
I got a question.
Okay, sorry about that.
So this, how much, I mean, how long will this take us? I mean, how long will this last you?
Well-
Do we have to revisit?
Well, it's a guesstimate, so, but we're hoping it'll be 6 months, because if
Okay.
75,000, as she said, for the year estimate, so
And
it should
then-
be 6
then
months.
we can revisit that again.
Correct.
When that time comes up.
Then that gives
Okay.
us,
That gives us time
gives
to
more time
review
to understand
these
how she's
accounts
Yeah,
and
that's
just
fine.
make
That's
sure where
Just
we're
to
at.
do for us.
Only thing I worry about is just having the money there the next pay check, you know what I'm saying, next pay rounds and next bills.
If we've only used 1,700, that should get us for a while, at least. So I know your staffing will obviously change, fluctuate, but that's a fair amount to get us a few
If it's
months
3
to
months, it's 6
revisit
months,
this.
whatever we need, you can come back and revisit.
Yeah.
Then you can advertise it then we can do the rest of it.
Any other questions or comments on this one?
Did you guys request that in your budget for this year?
Yes, sir, we did, but it was cut,
Did they give you anything?
didn't give me nothing.
Yes, you had a question.
Any other questions or comments? Motion on the floor to change the appropriated amount to 75,000 on ordinance 2024-6 for overtime for jail deputies. All in favor? Five. All opposed? Same sign. 1. 5-1.
I feel like you should sit here.
So, Dan,
She
tell me
doesn't
what you
have
want to
that
do next,
on
cause
the
you know,
This one.
Oh, the last one that we have is the, it's $5,500 for part-time deputies, which I think at the time that we did that estimate, it's now gonna be woefully under. And
Which-
when we advertised, we actually advertised for the wrong fund, so that was my mistake.
This, yeah, they can't be
'Cause I
paid
haven't-
out of
yeah.
special purpose.
Yeah, it should have been,
So I have to table
it should have
that.
been lit public safety. So we'll have to table it.
With the advertising issues on that one, I would entertain a motion to table the request for 5,500 on ordinance 2024-07 due to it being advertised out of the wrong fund.
I move that we table it.
Collins with a motion, White with a second, all in favor?
Well, how about, I got a question.
Okay, sorry about that, I forgot.
Why would we table it when it doesn't exist?
At this time, you're correct, it doesn't, but we can't even talk about putting money in it from what was advertised, if you wanted to, because it was advertised in special purpose, and you can't pay road deputies out of that, that's specifically for jail.
Okay, so we're just gonna,
So, revisit this another day.
okay.
All in favor of that? 5, all opposed? 1.
She made a
Sorry about all the
motion to
confusion.
table,
That would've been Collins,
Colin,
second,
Second was-
White,
right?
I was,
or, I'm sorry,
I was for it.
yes, the second was White on the motion, you,
Oh,
we got you as
I'm
a,
sorry.
yes.
I misunderstood what you said.
Is that it for sheriff?
That is it for sure.
just a couple of questions. So, and it's just a recap, basically. So, on the first, on the cars, what was the decision on the cars?
That was a no on the
No, no purchase on the cars? Okay, that was out of our plans, okay. And then the jail and the road guys and gals, you put in 75,000.
The jail is what was requested, they're 75.
Okay, and
And
then
the road hasn't came to us yet.
Okay, and then the,
part-time was
Part-time
tabled
has been tabled.
because it was advertised for lit special purpose and you're not allowed to use that for road deputies.
Okay.
And your HIV was full,
Your
100.
HIV, yes, was the
Was
full
full
110.
110, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we're on 8.
Let's see. Oh, I know what I was gonna tell you. There was confusion with in the commissioners meeting the other night, cause they'd taken the 100,000 out of our, budget for jail maintenance. And there was some maintenance that needed to be taken care of, so they was wanting to know why I wasn't taking it out of my jail maintenance, and I told them I didn't have no jail maintenance anymore, it was going to Eric. So they was wanting to know where the money went to, so you can talk to them about that.
I will, but that's actually not what happened. Reviewing, because I was at that meeting and I was appalled that there wasn't any money in there, so several of us reviewed the budget worksheets that we have, and I meant to bring them tonight, and my apologies that I forgot them, but it was never any maintenance requested in the sheets that were given
Yeah,
to
we
us.
requested $100,000.
I've got,
Yeah, we
I sent
did.
you copies,
Sure
scanned
did.
copies of them that show the
Okay.
$120,000.
Hold on, time out. At the budget hearings, the paperwork that we have has no request for maintenance, so we'll have to revisit that another day, but
But
as
it
of
is
right now.
accurate what I said, you said it's untrue, but that's completely.
No, we didn't transfer it to anybody. Did you?
Okay.
We were saying we transferred it to Eric, and that's
No,
didn't
no,
happen.
who said that?
Okay, that didn't happen. We're gonna work on it, figure it out, and we'll work with the commissioners to see what we gotta do to fix.
Cause it's their
something that's
bill,
broke.
so it's not.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
so.
Well, we look, I know I looked through it with the
It's the next one.
papers that we were given. budget,
It's
there was
Advisory
no
Planning Commission.
request
That's all.
We had $100,000 requested.
Not on what we were given.
That's,
I mean,
Yeah.
I can't
Where's the
say
funny
you
thing?
did.
right, no, I get it.
Somewhere it got like all this in the mix, but we'll work through it and figure it out.
So in the meantime, we just want me to continue to send them to Eric.
Cause I want you.
I don't know that he's gonna be able to pay him, cause if you have issues in the jail, that's probably gonna come out of that lit special purpose. That's where your maintenance usually comes from.
Well, yeah, up from you guys, but we had a special line item for jail maintenance.
Yeah, but it wasn't in our budget that we went over. I mean, we checked it, so we will have to, I guess, advertise for some additional appropriations from that if that's the route you wanna go, or if it's not in there, it wasn't ever on any of the worksheets that were given to us. So that was the problem, and several of us looked at all the same ones. We all have our writings on them where we sit through those hearings, and I don't remember any like big ticket items that you guys talked about during the budget hearings whenever we talked about things to budget for with, maintenance issues, so I don't know if it was something that came up new or something you knew about or what.
That's where I come from. Yeah, it was
Eric
decided to
can't-
go to Eric, so.
Eric can't spend lit public safety, or public safety or, special, but we'll get that on the agenda and murder through that one the next time.
Okay, all right. The only reason why I say that is some of these bills are getting past due and we're getting charged for past due, you know what I'm saying, so. That's the only thing we gotta worry
I understand
about. And that costs us extra money to do that, so.
Exactly.
All right,
So now you know.
all right.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Again, before I leave, these ladies here, excellent job. We appreciate you guys, what you do with us.
Miss Marty, you're up.
Head departments.
Ma'am, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine, how are you?
Good.
She's still here.
I'm still here.
So we have a ordinance 2024-8, which is an ordinance for an additional appropriation for Advisory Plan Commission for a part-time salary in the amount of $3,235.68. Will that cover how long are you here? You know,
Until the 15th.
March or January.
December. Okay.
the amount, $3,235.68.
That is going to cover, a salary ranging from January 2nd to February 15th of $2,831.22. Then I requested 21 more hours to be placed in the new line item for a part-time person for that office. Because,
Because she takes a vacation.
So we need
And-
to create
and,
a
you
part-time
know, she's got-
salary ordinance for them.
a parent who is undergoing some treatment and, you know, she may have to step out for that, or, you know, a vacation.
Is it not in the salary
When
ordinance
she's,
change for that?
you know, and I couldn't tell her when she would earn that week's vacation.
All I see is the probation.
Is that a year? I don't know. But nonetheless, that would be 3 days, or I can parcel it out. You know, if she, you know, if she's got an appointment at 1 o'clock, I can step in at 1 o'clock and cover the
Which
office.
we covered last time.
Well, you could do it at either, you can do it at the same time. You can amend the
I
salary
have him
ordinance,
out of here.
approve the additional appropriation, but I don't think we have it in the salary.
Yeah,
ordinance.
what would that
What's
come
wrong
out
with
of,
it?
Jason?
It looks like general, cause that's
We have to
1,000,
re-advertise
right?
that.
General fund, what's the amount in
Cause
that?
it's an appropriation, it has to be advertised.
Yes. Oh, the balance in the general fund right now?
The issue's gonna be is that they did not, advertise the salary ordinance to be amended for the part-time, and you have to do a salary ordinance.
ordinance
You have to
to
amend
put
it
this
by,
money in.
and, yeah, to put this money in there, and it was not advertised, or set for public hearing.
Would we be better off then to table it and catch it next month?
Well, you're gonna have to, because you can't do an additional appropriation without the salary ordinance being amended, so.
That's okay, I'm still here.
I move that we take.
Wait a minute, wait a minute,
Okay.
wait a minute, you
Hold
just
on,
said you did
hold on.
not advertise it and have the public hearing on it tonight.
There's been no public hearing that I know of.
I didn't hold one.
So are we okay?
Correction of the 2024 salary ordinance.
Okay, well, we have to do that first before we can appropriate to it, because the salary ordinance isn't done, so we'd have to come back.
So that would create the new line item.
Okay. And you need a new line created. Yeah, well, we're just gonna have to move this down until the salary ordinance
Your
is,
table.
we're not gonna table it till next month, we're gonna table it till we get the salary ordinance. You say
For a little bit.
it was advertised, the salary ordinance amendment.
I don't know that I understand so we have not, no, this has not been advertised, this was, I'm bringing it in front of you today to say this is what needs to happen to match the budget. But it hasn't been advertised.
Well, you're amending a salary ordinance,
have
so
to
ordinance
add
has to be
a
public
part-time.
hearing. Yeah, we'd have to add it,
So I think you're gonna have to table it until,
cause you have to have the ordinance, you have to have a public hearing on the ordinance.
and we have to have a position to put that money into for their line.
So you're gonna have to do a line. Yeah.
Alright, Collins with
So
a
yes.
motion to
So
table.
yes, we can table.
I'll just chain myself to the chair.
Yes, go ahead.
I'll just pay it.
Yeah, I've got both of them.
I'm gonna make a note so we can make sure.
That's Collins and White.
No, anytime you do
Jennifer.
salary ordinance, you have to do it, you have to do it.
We are
just like-
going to have to
anytime you
table
do
this
a
request
salary
for her
ordinance, just like
part-time
you did the
again,
regular on
because it
public
wasn't
hearing.
advertised correctly
Oh,
again.
stop it, Eric.
Same
For-
with appropriation, you have to notice those.
Because
just like
if,
the budget.
Diane,
So it was.
because if we approve the money or don't approve the
Wait a
money,
minute, now you're
there's
just
no
confusing. You
line in
just
the
said
salary
the
ordinance to
salary
put
ordinance
it. We have to
is
do
not
that
part-
first.
No.
So all in favor of tabling
This
this?
was.
Yes, the ordinance.
5-0.
Right.
6-0, sorry. I'm losing my
Just like
mind.
you would any other.
Sorry, Mark.
You made a motion,
So at the beginning of the year, you should, or in the last year.
I want you each to
That is
raise
gonna
your
be
right
Collins
hand
White.
and swear. We get this done.
Sorry, you said right.
It was 5-1.
We'll just start taking up a
Six
GoFundMe.
all.
6-0.
Oh, that would be great. Oh,
Alright, sorry. Brittany, let's see what we can do with you.
Now the sheriff's part.
I think it was last time.
That's in there, it's just not appropriated, right? And the
This
ordinance.
is the health first money that we got extra money from because some
Yes.
counties opted out. So we finally got it, I think, advertised properly, so.
Marty out of it.
Thank you.
Well, I
So-
mean, that wouldn't be right, would it?
9, that's the right fund, correct? You're on 9.
So the total we got was $294,244.08. So that's $9,400.08 over what we, had budgeted for last
Did
year.
we tabled this last month, didn't we?
I think so, so, is that the same?
We didn't give it an ordinance.
No,
for
we
last
did
month.
not.
Okay.
Because we hadn't advertised it, we just discussed that we should receive additional funds for the grant.
Alright, so we have a ordinance 2024-9, and it is determined to be necessary to appropriate money that was not in the prior annual budget. Due to her receiving more money, we have to bring in, $9,400.08. So it's not really an additional appropriation to request, it's moving it from her additional grant into a line item via a contractual services additional appropriation.
She's already got the rest of it in the line item.
Yes, that was all set up. And the contractual services is in that, the line exists, it just, we have to make a motion to accept this extra grant money, put it in there.
I'd make a motion.
Diane and White. Any questions, comments, or concerns on this one? With that, I will accept all in favor for this motion. 6-0. There you go, man. We will get this signed in just a minute. Thank you.
I'm looking up to see if there's any way around this part ordinance, being,
Mr. Mark Gardner.
this would be what, 10? Cause what else is gonna need salary ordinances?
I'm Mark Gardner, I'm your county surveyor. I'm here asking for an appropriation of $50,000 for the section corner perpetuation fund.
We just had 11.
It's 11, that's the difference between the two.
Yeah, we only advertised for 11,000, because that was what was the difference, what was put in there and what you had, so that'll bring you up to 51,000, I think.
My mistake.
So, no, that's, I think it was just lack of communication, sorry about that.
I'm sure it was on my part, I'm sorry.
So what are these funds used for, Mark?
Section corner perpetuation. In 1968, the legislature passed an ordinance that said county surveyors would perpetuate 5% of their section corners annually. So by 1988, everything should have been done. In 2016, we had a smattering, but no real way to track them. What we're doing now is putting them on the county GIS with what's called state plane coordinates. That basically puts the state of Indiana on a big piece of graph paper. And it matches, Scott County matches Allen County, matches Vigo County, and puts everybody on the same playing field. It's just keeping up with the technology.
Gotcha. And so, in this, I guess there was a budget, we gave some, appropriated some of it, not all of it.
I'm a little confused, actually. Obviously, I have my numbers wrong. I was confused last year, and apparently I'm still confused this year, so.
Join the crowd.
I was advised to ask for a total of 50,000 this year, knowing that if we didn't use it, and we won't, it'll fall back into the same fund, and we'll have it to use next time.
Yes, and I think what was, it was 40,000 was given, and then when you asked that, that's why we've asked for the additional of 11,000.
Okay, once again,
So what fund is this coming out of?
It says it comes out of the surveyor's perpetuation.
Is that correct?
The 1202.
I think you talked to us about
And
this.
do we know what's in there?
we didn't have a registrant in that
Do we
office.
know what's in there?
They really couldn't be expected to do.
Right,
Like, it's not gonna run us.
It's
No,
not.
no, it's
That
not
you
really
have for
short.
what we were supposed to be doing.
Yes, ma'am, and
And-
Perpetuation fund.
it's my name, perpetuation is going on forever and ever and ever.
That's exactly,
Exactly.
yes.
So, with this, it comes out of his perpetuation fund, and what he's explaining, if he doesn't use it, it falls back into that. And they don't have the exact figure on what's in that fund, but we're good with the 11,000 coming out of it. So with that, I would entertain a motion to pass ordinance 2024-10 for the amount of $11,000.
I move that we do this.
A second. Okay, put Eric down.
We'd like to give
Collins and Eric.
him his money back.
Exactly.
Any comments, questions, more than what we've done?
He already forewarned me.
All in favor? 6-0. We'll get it signed, taken care of. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you. EMA, Will Lovins, Jeremy McDaniel. For any of you guys that don't know, this is the new director, Jeremy McDaniel of 911 and EMA, and his number 2, Will Lovins.
I'm the new director effective the 19th.
Close enough.
I'm still not on here, but I wanted to stop in and say hi to you guys and introduce myself. So nice to meet you. I know a lot of these faces just from living in Scott County, so it's good to be in front of you, working for you guys, helping you out. So, we are here somehow or another through the budget process. There was mix up. We did not get any repair and maintenance funding through any of our budgets. Working with 3 budgets. I have the statewide 911 fund, the public safety Lloyd, and then of course the EMA fund. So we're requesting $30,000, I believe, from the public safety Lloyd to be added to our budget. That's pretty much what we spend every year, looking back through everything.
And then what's the other one on emergency management?
I have no idea.
That's a grant, so it's a grant that we
This is that the EMA performance grant, the salary grant?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So does it have a line item or just going into salaries?
I think that one does, because it's one we've had before.
Okay, alright, so let's start with that. We're looking at ordinance 2024-11, and it will be for the emergency management agency for use of salaries in the amount of $26,329.74, and that is a grant in which that we have received going into a line item that already exists.
How much was it?
$26,329.74. Any questions or comments regarding that?
Yeah, that's a grant at no cost to the county.
Correct. It's the one we get every single year for the EMA.
Thank you.
And it offsets the salary,
That would go to,
it
EMA
offsets
salary.
the salary of the director,
Basically my salary.
basically, yeah, his money. So, if no further comments or questions, I would entertain a motion to accept 2024-11.
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Miller Collins. All in favor? 6-0. Alright. That one's good. And this one is listed emergency management for repairs and maintenance. Is that correct, or should it
It
be?
should be under, 911.
1170 Lloyd.
Yeah. Yeah, because my EMA comes out of the public or the,
Appropriated
general
from
fund.
lit public safety into.
Should be.
Oh, okay, well, I just put it into emergency management.
Oh, got it.
That's not a big deal. She's just
It's
not
gonna be
giving
coming
her
out of
changes.
the, public safety Lloyd.
Yeah, public safety, lit public safety money, and it's in the amount of $30,000 for repairs and
You
maintenance
changed it up, that needs to be done.
on ordinance 2024-12. He says no.
Yeah, I'm looking at I've got the paperwork here. I double checked today when I filled out my,
Was it on those other papers?
it was on every paper except their papers.
Yeah, so whenever I pulled the Form 1 off of the State Gateway website, it wasn't there.
So you had made their, or they had made their request, but it.
We didn't make the request,
Some,
time last
yeah,
but it didn't.
like I've got JR's handwritten notes from we had discussed it too, from his budget worksheets that show it in there, but it just never, between filling out the paperwork that went from you guys to them to the state, it never.
So have we
Just
spent
disappeared
any
off the
money yet?
There is an expenditure out of there, I believe it's in the $150 range due to some window tinting in the front for an IDAX security solution we needed to do. But as of yet, there's been no major expenses.
And will this be the only additional appropriation you're gonna be needing?
I honestly can't tell you, the way it looks right now, based off of everything that's been done in the past, Possibly, there's a good chance it will be. I am going to be looking at trying to get a new CAD software that's gonna work for myself, all the police departments, the sheriff's department. But speaking with the commissioners, they had talked about possibly opioid or ARPA funds to do that. And working on grants for that as well. So
Would it benefit you to table this, see it in March, and make sure you don't need to change or request
I
anything
will not
else?
be able to pay any claims out
I
of
was
that
gonna
money
say,
if you do not appropriate anything at this time.
Okay, we can appropriate some. Do you want to do what you want? I mean, I just don't, I know that you haven't had time to even really get in the
I was
office.
gonna say, yeah,
So all we're trying to do is put money in there that we aim to put in there anyhow, that,
Apparently,
well,
that's just a
Did
oversight.
we go put money in that?
yes, we did, but we didn't, the paperwork between them didn't get into their paperwork.
Yeah,
We'll have those ones at the other night, ain't it?
yeah. So,
yeah, so. All I know is I'll need some of that at least to get started. And, then if I need anything else, it'll be towards the end of the year.
So 10,000?
And that was the sum that had been
I was gonna
requested.
say, yeah, because,
30 was already appropriated.
Already appropriated, but in there, he's gonna be new, your first
Yeah.
19th, you said?
the 19th is my first day.
Put it in, yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I can't picture unless a major catastrophe happens, needing more for my regular
I knew that
budget.
we put the 30
So-
in, like we had already funded for anyway.
So motion on the table from Collins to approve $30,000. Who's up? Diane.
Give that to Jeremy.
Yeah, isn't that funny? All in favor? 6-0. We'll do the paperwork.
Sometime get with me on that.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you very much.
See you soon.
See ya. Yeah.
Yes.
That right.
So which other ones are gonna be affected by the salary ordinance not being?
So who's talking about TIF utilities?
Okay, what we had on that, and I'm not even sure that needs to come in here, that was on the property that was purchased out on 256. We needed to move money to be able to pay, there's a Stucker Fork bill and a Jackson RMC bill up there.
What property?
Is that from rural development?
The rural
It's from-
development?
It's from redevelopment.
Redevelopment.
Yeah, redevelopment. So,
You just told me.
So we're paying the utilities for something somebody else
no, it'll
bought?
come out of the TIF.
Okay. For
So we
the,
need to do anything with that
I'm
then?
really not sure
So-
that we do or don't.
It's not to
Why
do-
would
Some
redevelop-
auditors say yes, some
Why would
say.
redevelopment pay?
They are. It will be coming out of the TIF fund for
Like I said, we just
redevelopment.
have to approve.
Yeah, so.
Yeah,
so
I
so-
move that we approve the TIF for the utilities for the 256 property.
Do you think we should go ahead and put enough in there to,
Does she know?
that's what that estimate is based
Yeah.
off of.
how much you put in?
1,200. So a motion on the table from John Collins to accept ordinance 2024-13 for additional appropriation out of the TIF fund for utilities for property purchased by redevelopment in the amount of $1,200.
I'd say,
Second by White.
You know what, I think on that, do we need a line item created for that one too? I think we need a line item created for that.
For utilities?
Yes, out of TIF, out of redevelopment. I think what we have used in the past is.
Would you like to
contract
modify your
services.
motion to accept, or to make a,
Wait a minute.
accept the money and make a line item to put it in?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, first off, I've got, to move the money, I've got John Collins made a motion, I
You
don't
can
have
do
a
it
second.
together.
He's moving his.
He's just changing,
amending
he's
his
amending
motion.
his motion
Okay,
to accept the money and make a line item to put it in within the TIF budget.
And John White was the second.
And White is the second on that. Everybody clear? Any questions, comments, concerns? All in favor? Can't see here. Yep, 6-0. Hey, one question on that, Jennifer. If property is sold from redevelopment, where's that money go?
we'll go back in that TIF.
Into that TIF?
It'll come out of the fund that it came into.
so we.
Oh,
need
that
to
came out of,
table
it'll go back into that one.
Okay, so then do we have to change it, or?
Oh, it just needs a line.
Once it goes back in there, do we have to reappropriate it or accept it or anything?
I don't know, I'll have to check with the state and see on that.
Good.
Okay, it just needs a line.
Alrighty, Clerk Michelle Shelton.
You have the clerk grant, but you don't have the salary supplement.
Already. This is just.
Hi, Michelle. How are you, ma'am?
Good.
What can we do you for?
I'm just here for grant appropriations.
Going into, so this is the HAVA grant?
Yes.
The parts of it, right? Going into her, a salary supplement line within her budget under ordinance 2024-14, an ordinance for additional appropriation of $19,500 from the HAVA grant into salary supplement. Any questions, comments, concerns?
This is the grant for your, election helper.
Yes.
For the voter registration.
Okay.
And we're just putting her money into her account, so
Yes.
she can pay her
Yeah.
health.
Yes.
With the
Well,
grant.
putting the grant money
The grant
into.
money, right.
Into
In a
that
line item
into the
for
grant.
that.
salary for that person.
Correct.
I move that we.
Sorry. Collins and Miller. So with that, we have a motion on the floor to accept 2024-14 in the amount of $19,500. All in favor? 5-0. Diane stepped out.
I might need to get some bacon in here. Got 'em in.
I got on some or something, it's jacket in it.
Not me.
Next up for the clerk's office is ordinance 2024-15, and it's an ordinance for additional appropriation, the same grant going into advertising in the amount of $4,000, and same exact thing.
Is that a grant also?
It's same,
Still
part of
part
the
of the
same
same
grant. Man,
Alright.
so, I don't know. Y'all got me all choked up in here. Any questions, comments, concerns
Transfer $4,000.
from the grant into advertising, which will be used for elections?
How much is the total on the grant?
21 something. That about does it, yeah.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Almost $26,000.
I thought it was 26,000.
I
Almost
guess I do have another question. Why is it not a transfer?
Because it's not been, there's not a
never been
line.
appropriate.
It's never been appropriated into that.
Thank you.
It's never been appropriated into her grant. So where are you holding the money right now?
Okay.
The money is in the grant.
But it's not been
But it's not been
appropriated to
appropriated
those.
to the
To those
Gotcha.
line items.
So it's just sitting out there in her grant fund, but not appropriated to anywhere.
No big deal.
Just follow the small.
Well, you created the line last month, I think, so that she could receive the grant money, but nothing was ever appropriated to the lines. Is it me? What is it?
Everybody clears mud?
Yeah.
So on 2024-15, in the amount of $4,000, we have a motion from Miller, second by Collins, all in favor? 6-0, Diane's back in. Man.
Not me. Not a good problem there.
And the last one for the clerk is ordinance 2024-16. Same grant, amount of $2,441 going into equipment.
That's for the election, right?
Yes.
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Miller, Collins again. Questions, comments?
What do you
So
have?
that takes the whole money in the grant, right? Okay.
Yes.
I have two different.
All in favor? 6-0.
It's the 80,000, that's on that.
Any opposed?
And then
Can't nobody oppose, right?
one,
6 here.
Two articles. Okay.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Have a good night.
EMS. Fixing our medical problems. Send me a bill. Everybody else does.
It's very thin this time.
I don't know what's got my throat choked up. Talking so much, I guess. I need to be better.
We don't need all that. Thank you.
Do you?
Unless you change shit up.
I haven't changed anything.
Well, then we're good.
Run volume and financials are at the top, and then you have your financial worksheet on the back. Finished January with just shy of 177, and this month we've had one deposit at 56, so we're at 240 for the year so far, a month and a week. Thank you. Run volume, we had 427 runs last month. And then so far year to date, I know that I was requested from both boards from people for this figure. Year to date so far, we've done 163 transfers.
Thank you. So with EMS, we have a ordinance for additional appropriations, number 2024-17.
And that was for the stuff that was appropriated last year. I didn't get invoices for, it's just to pay for this year because I can't do all that. So I didn't get invoices before December 31st to encumber, so they just, and it's not full amounts, it's partial amounts. Last year I was
This is money
appropriated.
that was there and that rolled back into your EMS, we're just reappropriating.
Correct.
1151.
Yes.
It's out of my fund.
So the total will be for 9,000 in fuel, 15,000 medical supplies, 8,000 vehicle maintenance, other services of 20,000, contractual services of 28, with a total of $80,000 to put from 2023 back to 24, so you can pay the bills that came in. No.
All right.
That makes sense.
Nick is saying this is not right.
That bottom fund number should be 1170, not 11.
It's there, it's corrected on that one, yeah.
1151.
This is 1151.
The
Well,
other services.
no, the contractual
Yes,
services.
so contractual services. I
Is at
have
the top,
1170,
okay.
yeah.
On this one, it's not, so I just want to
Yeah.
make sure.
That's because
Can I
she
look at this
changes them after I do them, it doesn't tell me.
1170 is correct. 51, 51, 51, 51. Yes, that is correct.
Good as stands.
Good as that one is, yes.
So total amount doesn't change, $80,000 requested from the EMS fund back to line items that were bills from 23. Any questions or comments? Nope. I entertain a motion to accept ordinance 2024-17.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, let me compare
John
that.
Miller,
Make sure it
I'll
makes-
second it.
That one I think is
Collins, all in favor? 6 of them right there.
Second thing is went to the commissioners for the striker bill. They approved to take it out of ARPA, so it comes before you to be done with
It'll
striker
be
forever and
18.
always, unless it comes out of my
18.
fund. Amen.
As a slight correction to that, it's the
Yes, sorry,
salaries are
salaries
going
for
to come out.
the
You can't
3
repay
positions.
that.
And then if you do that, I would need, approval from you guys to move, the 3 salaries from, 1151, that's not gonna change, 11117, 11118, 11133, all to 42000.
I'd like to make a motion for that. Sure.
I'll second it.
I hate to even,
Hold on.
So we advertised the more than what was
suggest
actually
that we,
required.
Yeah, but you have,
are we paying the, late fee?
So as
Those are the
of
salaries
last
that
week,
make up that 208.
yes.
okay.
Zach was
these-
supposed to be in contact.
No, you're approving 208, she over
with them
advertised.
and get back
So
to
the
me.
request is gonna be,
I have not
208,
heard
325,
anything.
and it's going to pay these
But we have
that we have in the salary ordinance, right?
2.5 weeks before we have to submit that bill, like, so we have
And,
a little time to negotiate that.
There's the resolution from me.
Thoughts, feelings about it?
I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about
It
it.
just irks me that we gotta pay it, that's the only reason I'm questioning.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
It's not a transfer between major.
if it were my personal account, I would send them the money for the bill and
Because you got some big
see
transfers, they're not
court over
major
the 7,000, but that's just me.
Yes.
But there's enough money between the line item transfers to cover it. And then, but I'm not sure, I was gonna talk to Zach next week at the next meeting to see what the official dollar amount is to, worst case scenario, yes.
Okay, so,
But we will be avoiding one, hopefully, if this goes through this year, that we won't have anything extra this year.
yeah, so the money that we're, moving around is gonna cover everything, including the late fee, and this, I mean, practically down to the dollar.
There's extra there.
Okay.
there's extra above the dollar of the 3 salaries.
Okay.
And that
The
was
reason for that is, I don't mean
getting
cut you
down to
off,
the
but
minute of,
it would be practically impossible for the auditor's office to put down to the minute of, you would end up funding 2 salaries and like 17.86% of another one. And there's no way to do that without being short, then we'd have to come back and fix somebody's salary prior to a paycheck. So fund 3 salaries, it's a little bit more, but it covers
I don't care about that,
the extra.
I'm just,
there will be enough to cover late fee included.
well, I'm just trying to get to the point that we can, you know, debate, or try to push back on the late fee, and then you figure out what to do with the extra money. You see what I mean?
I'm okay with that.
I'd rather you have it, no, I'm serious, I'd rather you have it, or somebody,
Yeah.
you know, than the company just charges late fee, which it wasn't late.
Right.
In my opinion.
Yeah, so there was a lot of conversation between Zach and Lindy and all of them last year, that they understood that it's not just write a check, that it has to go to one board and then go to another board, and depending on when they meet, there can be, we went through all of that. They gave us a second deadline, they got their check by that deadline, and then obviously we don't see a bill for 9 months, and then we see that bill 9 months later and it's on there. So Zach did say last meeting that he was gonna come in contact with them and see what we can do.
Well, I don't give up on it, that's just, that kind of stuff, just.
I agree.
So with that, we have in front of us ordinance 2024-18, and this is an ordinance for an additional appropriation coming from the America Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, and it will fund 3 salaries, EMS director, and the amount of $78,621, the training officer in $60,890, and EMS deputy director $68,864, for a grand total to ask to be approved of $208,325. Questions or comments?
I'd like to make a motion to accept it as written.
White to accept as stands. Miller, second. Any questions further? All in favor? 6-0. Next up,
I don't know if it's on your agenda.
FEMA grant.
So this is kind of out of order, and it's because I just found out about it on Saturday from Jeremy, like the specifics.
That's for after him.
The problem is the deadline is before, it's what, March 8th?
March 4th.
4th, so it's before your next meeting. So I was just coming to you guys for approval. Then I can, like, if the commissioners so moved to do it, if you guys would be in support of it, it's through a FEMA grant, through their AFG grant. And it's a 5% match, which I'd be willing to do out of my 1151, up to $1 million on their part. So the total max investment from my end would be 50 grand.
Hold on just a second. Would we need to amend the agenda to be able to deal with this, Heather?
I think we actually added it on.
It's on there, it's
It's on
grant
there.
application,
Okay, I'm sorry.
grant application, so it's good
Yeah.
as
Go ahead.
advertised.
So the most max out of pocket from our end would be 50 grand, and I would, I feel if I get $1 million, I can front to 50 grand.
And you'll be able to work with Jeremy?
Jeremy and I are gonna collude on Saturday at 4 PM, if anybody would like to, wrong word,
Work together.
meet.
Yes.
Turns out I'm busy.
Team up.
I wrote a few grants, smaller grants that we've been approved for. I've never wrote grants to this magnitude, and I'm just being honest, so I'm take any help that I can get. So, you know, we're gonna I'm gonna try to get trucks or equipment, whatever I can get. And I mean, from my understanding from talking with Jeremy, the way that it works is you put in for all of these things. Your initial disbursement for what you get appropriated for is less than 5%. So let's say I buy a truck for 350 grand. I submit that to them, they pay me the 300,000, they take my 50 grand total out of the initial, and then everything else that I've been approved for from that point is fully funded.
And when can you meet with commissioners to get this?
Next week.
Next week, okay.
Which I don't think we wouldn't have to make a vote to accept it. I think he just needs our grace.
That you would give me,
We would
appropriating 50
transfer
grand if,
50,000 out of EMS budget
up to up to 50 grand if I got appropriated whatever for the match.
Actually, there was a grant application that should be filled out, but I think we forgot to send to you. We'll need to do that. But if you wanna vote for that, and
To
then
sign
we
at
can
a
leave
later
an office
date.
and somebody can sign at a later date, but
It's out of order.
you'll have to approve the
My
grant
fault, but I
application.
didn't get the specifics.
I don't know if you can vote to approve something.
The commissioners, we can vote
Well,
to
it's something
sign
that
it
we
out
do all the
of,
time.
out of a
Outside of a
meeting.
meeting, yeah.
And then if they approve his grant application, me or Lindy can sign it.
You want legal review?
Yes.
And then I would have to do a
It's what
motion
we've
to
used on
approve
all of them.
contingent on legal review to be signed outside a meeting.
That.
There
Yes.
you go.
So I would entertain a motion to,
I so move.
yeah, do that. Legal review of a grant application and then allow myself or President Eubanks to sign it outside of a meeting.
I'll second it.
Diane and Collins.
This is out of the,
Leaving on the
Jeremy's gonna have to help me here, the American Firefighter Grant, but they've opened up a small portion to non-affiliate.
Non-affiliated EMS organization.
That.
So, it's the Assistance Firefighter Grant's been going on since 2003 roughly. It's FEMA's biggest grant they do, to help out. 25% of it annually is the non-affiliated EMS agency, so an agency that's not
Affiliated with the
associated
fire.
to a fire department. 25% of all the funding is dedicated just to this.
Good luck.
With the motion on the table, all in favor? If there's no questions or comments, 6-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next up, ARPA group insurance. This one comes from the commissioners, right?
Yeah, they,
For ordinance 2024-19, and it is an ordinance for an additional appropriation coming from American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, in the amount of $66,009.72 to the group insurance fund, which already exists, and if appropriated, it would be moved into that line item. Any questions or comments?
we have resolution approval from the commissioners. They approved that at their January 3rd meeting, and I have a copy of it.
If anybody wish to review that? Nope. All in favor? Who did the motion?
Nobody did, you
No.
got carried away there.
Got carried away.
I made the motion.
Who's the second? The Miller Collins again. Now, all in favor or opposed? 6-0.
You can't do and or opposed, you
I
can't do.
know. Look, you got me all frazzled. I'm up here.
Cause everyone at
hacking my
6-0
head
is opposed and for it, so, I mean,
off. I know, right?
has it been a long meeting and it's hot in here?
Yes, it is hot in here. Next on the agenda would be the 2024 board appointments. And I have that paperwork with me. Lindy has that, and I would ask that someone would make forth a motion, we table that until the March
I'd
meeting.
like to table the board appointments till next meeting.
Collins and White. All in favor of that? Any opposed? 6-0 on that table. And then we have a correction of the 2024 salary ordinance.
And comes to my knowledge that we did not advertise. We can discuss what needs to happen and then advertise, so you'll have a heads up. In the general terms, what has happened is we budgeted the correct number based off of the 5% increase that was agreed to. That's what's in the budget and was approved. However, some of them on the ordinance didn't get updated correctly. And that's the sheet, the summary that I provided. So the ordinance has less than what we budgeted.
Big question, are people being paid what they're supposed to be paid? As of right now, until we get this taken care
Yes.
of?
As far, yes.
Okay. So to table this changes nothing other than paperwork within your office.
I make a motion, we table that.
Miller with a motion to table that, White with a
I'll
second.
verify that that's,
One's
one is-
not,
One person is not.
okay.
me.
I will make sure that it
Me.
does.
Could we address the correction to the salary ordinance?
Sure.
Yes, there was an error in one of the probation officer's salaries that's set by statute.
Okay.
Mr. Piper has a little more information about that.
If I could, Greg Piper, I'm an attorney in Jefferson, I've been conferring with Judge Mount and
Ms. Peters and others for a little over a year about space issues here, so that's not tonight. These are fairly minor issues, but since, for the last 20 years, the state has been setting minimum salaries for probation officers. And you have a probation officer, Jennifer Lowry, who just accumulated her 10th year of service, and that results in a bump in that schedule. So when the budget was submitted last year, there was a request for $62,448 for her salary, which would have been $1,275 higher than the minimum, and was equivalent to the 10% increase that I understand all department heads were requested to submit. It actually got approved at
5%.
57,930.60.
And so that is, so what was approved would have satisfied the minimum. But what was approved does not. And so Judge Mount's request is that an increase to 63,772 be granted to recognize her juvenile experience, her after-hours work in doing that, and to grant a raise commensurate with what other county employees were granted. If not, he would request, if that can't be done, an increase to at least 62,448 to meet the minimum salary requirement in the schedule for this year.
So to add a little more color to that, so the ordinance that was approved and signed was the 57,930.60. What you approved in the budget and is approved by the state is the $63,723. So the budget reflects the correct salary.
Oh, okay.
The ordinance does not reflect
She
the
being
correct salary.
paid correctly.
She's not being paid correctly.
Well, it seems to me that we can pay her correctly until we get the salary ordinance amended, correctly, cause I'm sure you can appreciate, these ladies can't spend any money that's not appropriated.
I didn't pretend to
And
have a solution,
we
but
have to-
I
we
was
have
asked
to-
to come identify
So
the
what
problem.
are we
Yes.
going with 63 again? Hit me with that number.
63,723.
723, which is kind of middle road where you want to
Cause
be.
that's not one where we have to discuss whether or
$49
not her
off
salary's
this request,
going
I
up,
think
it's
it's
just
Yeah.
simply a scrivener's error that happened, correct?
Correct.
But we still have
So-
to advertise it, we still
They
have to
will look
do
into it
public
tomorrow,
hearing.
we'll make sure she's paid, and we'll advertise to fix,
Yes.
yes.
We'll
We'll
get all that
advertise
calculated out.
correctly for March to
I thought
add
that
that
was
on her
supposed to be
list.
Yes,
to
we
fix.
will have salary ordinance amendments.
And then I wanna say
For
about
March.
one more thing that, like Joe Higdon and Scott Poole had. On this, one of the things they called and said that they're asking that for a salary, they're paid 26 equal pays per year.
Yes.
But the way our salary, when I called State Board of Accounts, the way our salary is like this year, 1 week, the first paycheck of the month, or of the year was January 12th. Well, that was the last full week of December and the first full week of January. So the way we currently do that, even on salary people, they're paid whatever their salary would be the last week of December, and then the 2024 salary the first week of January. And what these guys are asking is that that first week of January, you get paid the 2024 rate for both weeks. And then at the end of the year, you'll be paid that last week at the 2025 rates. So that was something, and we would have to change the salary ordinance to be able to do that. We'd have to address that,
But
that
then-
as for the salaries,
Then you're
they're
asking
paid
for
26 equal pays.
Weeks into 23 to change that salary. That's something we have to talk
How's
about at
everybody else
budget
doing?
time.
I don't know how other counties around us do that.
No, I mean, how's everybody else in the county doing?
They're paid like what we've been doing.
Half and half.
Yeah, half.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't we just continue that?
Well, that's what I'm asking. That was a request, so I want to see.
Right. What it's causing is probation officers have a minimum salary that they have to be paid in a particular year. It's causing us to not, we're never getting paid that. So I'm still owed money from 2023.
In some years, we won't be meeting the state.
We're talking about back years and
So,
years.
since that's not on the agenda tonight, can we either
Right.
get you on there for that, or we visit this at budget time to change it, but I can't change it tonight, I can't vote on it, so. I'm willing to have that conversation with you, I
It's
just
an issue,
can't
Judge,
tonight.
I just wanted to tell you we'll be coming back.
Okay,
So,
absolutely.
and he couldn't be here tonight, he teaches a
Judge
criminal
Fraser,
justice class.
would you have Judge Mount send me a pretty succinct, in his way, send me a pretty succinct email about what the issues are and what he feels is needed to resolve it, and we'll
Yes,
put it on for
Take
March.
care of it.
yes. You'll
Yep.
put it on the agenda for March.
Yes.
Ms. Hamilman's making notes of that right now as we speak.
And none of these are big ticket items, but he also gave me some notes and asked me if you give me an opportunity, I'll take 2 minutes. But I'll just give you the notes that has 3 items. One is transcripts. There was money approved last year, but it didn't get paid till this year, so he's short in that. They're $2,000 in the hole now. There's mental health evaluations because of the way LifeSprings works, and this is a problem every place. You have to get at least 2 evaluations for someone to be deferred to Department of Corrections for treatment, and those are $1,500 to $2,500 each, whereas LifeSpring used to do those for less than $500, and those days apparently are gone. And lastly, our guardian ad litem fees, they asked for $8,000, but $4,000 were approved, and he doesn't think that will cover the year. So I'll just give you those notes, but his plan is to be here at your next meeting and to discuss those further. But with that, I appreciate your.
Please ask him to send a formal request for additional appropriations so that we can add them to the agenda and then also have it advertised ahead of time.
Well, don't we have to do prosecutors like the state do, so what, I don't understand why, or would we not just do them like we do the prosecutors on the same schedule?
Well, let's look into that and come whenever they're on the
Because
agenda,
don't we
we'll
have to
figure
pay
it out.
prosecutors by what the state regulates
Yes, ma'am.
as well?
As well as the sheriff and the judge, other than the magistrate should pay back. Alright.
Yeah, they go July 1.
Moving right along, consideration of the January 2024 minutes. There was a amendment to that. Jennifer has the corrected copy that we will sign if you'd like to see it. It's towards the top, second motion on it was changed, just a wording or two that I think
I copied and it had your name, it did not have your name, it had Lindy's name
I
twice.
think it says like we voted on the president twice and not vice, so no big deal there. Where are we at on the budget hearings?
Those I need to go, after talking to Sunny today, I need to, run those by her a little bit. There's some things on there that we need to look at. Sunny. It's around.
Oh. Alright. So we just table those?
Yeah, those will need to be tabled.
So I need a motion to table the consideration of the budget hearings from September 2023.
I'll make that motion.
The minutes for it. Miller, Collins, all in favor of that? 6-0.
And we gotta sign that one paper.
We have a bunch to sign after this. With that, it's everything on the agenda, and I would accept the motion to adjourn this meeting. Collins, White, all in favor? Out, 6-0.